Excuse me, do you know why we pulled you over today? Exactly, it's because you're not subscribed. So you better fix that right now, or we're gonna have to take you in. It says that we might finally get the way of multitasking that we were asking for. Now, I am going to be very cautious with this, because, like, obviously I would want this to be true, but it kind of gives me some doubt that this has been said before and we didn't get it. So let's just read it and see what happens. Move over to the other one.
This rumored iPad window management system could finally take iPad OS to the next level. A special laptop-like multitasking mode for keyboard and trackpad users could strike the right balance on iPad OS. Apple's iPad models are incredibly powerful, so much so that it often feels like the software is holding back the hardware. And that's especially true with desktop-class chips now powering several iPad models. For iPad power users, one of the main frustrations with using their devices each day is the lack of true multi-window multitasking. But that could be about to change if the latest rumor is to be believed. Over on Twitter, self-professed researcher Majin Bu claims that Apple is developing a smart system for iPad OS that will allow apps to operate in full screen but enable them to automatically shrink when connected to keyboard and trackpad, internally dubbed Apple Mixer. Apparently, the feature might not make it into iPad OS 16, might be M1 exclusive, or, may not exist at all. But it's got me excited for the future of the iPad regardless. Het meest verslavend spel van het jaar. Geen installation. Forge of Empires. Paving the way. iOS, and by extension iPad OS, was designed to get out of the way for the most part and allow the content to fill your screen. This simplicity has proven immensely popular, but it didn't scale particularly well to the larger and more powerful iPad models. As bigger iPad screens started arriving, so too did the ability to display more than one app at once, but the iPad's multitasking experience is still fairly rudimentary.
Yeah, it's like a blown-up iPhone at the moment with some more features, but I would definitely love to see a more desktop-like experience on the iPad, and this would be a good reason to get like the iPad on the stage at WWDC, right, and say like, this is iOS 16. iPad OS 16, and then afterwards, or maybe before that, they have the M2 chip and say like, this works best with the M2 chip, look at all the flipping multitasking that you can do, and like in the MacBook Air, this thing can do that thing in the other, right? That could work, and then I would be able to see them announce the iPad at WWDC as well. But otherwise, if it's just going to be like an update like last year, right? Like iPad OS 15, it was fine, but most people just, I don't know, they announced the M1 iPad on purpose, like before the event, before the WWDC event, because it was kinda underwhelming, right? iPad OS 15 was not like something that a lot of people were like super excited for. Now we're getting the hype for iPad OS 16. And yes, I could see that on stage, but not if it's similar to iPad OS 15. The announcement there was not so hyped to be like, oh, look at this, there's also a new iPad. Most people would be like, okay, cool. So a new chip and the same software. I'm not sure if I don't think they can pull it off one more time. Yes, iPad OS 16 is going to be poggers. Well, we don't know yet. Like, we hope so, but yeah. Let's hope so. That would mean the absolute end for S8 Tab. Yeah, definitely. Tab S8, yeah. Since that's the only benefit left on that tablet. Yeah, I agree. I mean, somewhat, because, like, you can have great multitasking, but if the chip is half as powerful, then in about 3 years, you're going to do less multitasking, even though you can work in certain windows and stuff like that, right? Yeah, I don't know. Even the operating system is more like a desktop operating system, especially with Samsung DeX. In about 3 years, you're going to go mental, because, like, it just doesn't work. Samsung KEKW, yeah.
As bigger iPad screens started arriving, so too did the ability to display more than one. Features like drag and drop have made using an iPad seem more computer-like, but it's still not quite there, and particularly at the pro end of the iPad line. The hardware is being kneecapped by the software.
Yeah, and then that is mostly it. I feel like also something that we need is more professional software on it. So maybe a touch version of Final Cut Pro or Logic Pro or something like that. Probably not the same as obviously on the Mac, but something similar so you can take your projects on the go and just use your iPad, especially like the 11-inch, that would be insane, to finish the project or just work on it a little bit, right? If you're in the train or in a taxi or whatever, wherever you are, you can just work on it on a touchscreen, and that's just a little bit more convenient sometimes, especially on the go, than a Mac, even a smaller Mac. It's different, right? Anyways.
The hardware is being kneecapped by the software. Windowing is where iPad OS still falls down. Adding keyboard and, more importantly, trackpad support to iPad OS has made the experience feel much more laptop-like and has opened up new ways of working where touch is too imprecise. Though the windowing is still where the experience falls down. I had hoped that iPad OS 15 might fundamentally reimagine the iPad software experience after a lackluster iPad OS 14 release, but the 2021 update focused mainly on improving foundational experiences. iPad OS 15 did improve the discoverability and usability of multitasking, but not how it actually works. Though perhaps we got a glimpse into a floating window future with a new Quick Note feature. Automatic switching. Of course, I am running away with this rumor being true at this point, but the idea of automatically changing modes based on peripherals sounds incredible. Thanks to the smart connector, an iPad Pro or iPad Air 5 detects when it has been magnetically attached to a Magic Keyboard immediately. A Bluetooth keyboard and mouse getting connected could elicit the same response in software. Discoverability is one potential problem, and Apple has often hidden away some of its most advanced features behind gestures or deep down in accessibility settings pages. However, given the productivity focus of a potential true windowing experience and the clunkiness of trying to resize small windows with fat fingers, I think this would be one case where a power user feature is right to be obfuscated from view, this time unavailable until the right peripherals are detected. I would imagine, again if this rumor turns out to be true, that this windowing experience would play nice with universal control too, allowing you to flow freely between many windows on your Mac and iPad using just one mouse and keyboard. Two floating windows does not equal proper multitasking. A lot of people sitting in front of a Mac or PC for work will keep a ton of windows open all day, every day. Right now, I have Mail, Safari, Music, Slack, and Notes open on my Mac screen. When I work from my iPad, I only really ever have two of these apps open at a time and have to switch between different multitasking views that I set up. The ability to have 3 or more apps open on screen at once with windows that can be dynamically resized to suit my needs would be a huge boon. Those that like to work this way will enjoy it. Those that prefer to operate one app at a time will still be able to do so. There's very little downside. The people who spend laptop-like prices on one of the best iPads and a Magic Keyboard today expect a laptop-like experience, and iPad OS does not really provide one just yet. Proper support for Windows would certainly win a lot of folks over and be a powerful marketing message for the more premium iPad models and the Magic Keyboard accessory.
Yeah, I would say it would refresh the excitement that a lot of people... It's not gone, but it's dimmed down. In a lot of people, like, the excitement for the iPad is cool, especially for the more cheaper iPad, like the iPad mini, the iPad Air, but the iPad Pro needs the attention of like a professional workflow a little bit more, and then I feel like it will get rekindled. The whole feeling of being like, hey, this thing is actually a pro device. I will be able to do the things that I need to do on this device, so it's probably not going to replace your Mac, because like obviously professionals will need either an M1 Pro or an M1 Max or an M1 Ultra or whatever is coming beyond that, but they can at least finish their projects or work on somewhat of their projects on the go, or on the couch, or whenever they need something smaller, something intuitive, and which Macs are too, but you know that there are situations where you have less room, or you just it's just more intuitive to work with less room. And when you have less room, I feel like a touchscreen and something that's optimized for gestures is just more efficient. It just works a little bit better in those cases. And I feel like a lot of professionals are just waiting for that to happen. So that would be amazing. Fam, I'm dreaming. Yeah. This is all a dream, right? This is rumors. We don't know if this is going to happen. iPadOS 16 could might as well be a just a continuation of iPadOS 15. You just don't get your hopes up too much. We're all dreaming. This is a dream. Yeah, probably. Fucking Matrix, dude. This would be so cool, especially with universal control, drag and drop the windows from the iPad to the Mac, since they can run the same apps and shit. Yeah, true. I mean, if they would be able to just quickly launch an app and drag that window in there, while you're dragging the window over, and it just launches the app and then puts it in that window, that would be cool. That would be amazing. Anime, to be honest, got the rumors like this last year, though. Yeah, exactly. We got these same rumors, and that's why I'm very cautious here. Be like, it would be insanely cool. I don't expect it.
People who spend laptop-like prices expect a laptop-like experience. However, the example shown in the tweet from Majin Bu simply has two smaller windows on an iPad screen. That alone is not an improvement on what we have today with split screen. The suggestion appears to be that these can be placed arbitrarily on the screen, that there's room for more than two windows, and there may even be the possibility to resize them, overlap them, and otherwise arrange them however you want. That Mac-like multitasking experience is sorely lacking from iPadOS, and is particularly noticeable when using a keyboard and trackpad that already feels so Mac-like in terms of hardware. How Apple solves power management when multiple apps are all viewable at once remains to be seen. It has been pretty good at handling background states for apps on mobile up to this point, and macOS is already smart about prioritizing power for visible windows over those that are not actively in use. So I'm sure that there could be an efficient way to do it. Regardless, those choosing to use this mode may be happy to trade off a little bit of the iPad's stellar battery life for the improved multitasking experience. WWDC calling. Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference is just a few months away, and we'll no doubt see Apple's vision for the future of the iPad laid out there with the unveiling of iPadOS 16. Though this be—
Yeah, I would say so too. Like, we're going to see it in a few months, and that's basically it. Like, obviously this leak, it would be insanely cool. It would be really cool to see this, especially like these floating windows. It would be really cool, but it could also just be notes. Just saying, it could just be notes that you can just stick on somewhere, or I don't know, something else. So just be excited, but also keep in mind that this shit, it can go either way. It can just go either way. Anyways, there's more news.